This is a video tutorial for the Happy Days MOKKA Car Tidy, and this is how you make it. And this is what you'll need. Fabric for the outer. I've put interfacing on the back of mine, but it's optional. Fabric for the lining and can snaps. We'll start by making the strap fabric. Place your strap fabrics right sides together. I'll place it right sides together, and now I'm going to put some clips in all the way around, but not at the bottom. I've clipped almost all the way around. I'm leaving the bottom open, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, starting at the bottom. Sew all the way around to the top and stop, across the top and stop, and then round the curve. Take your time with this, all the way around to there and stop, across the top, and then the last bit of stitching is all the way down to the bottom and stop. I've sewn all the way around, and I've also snipped the corners, and I've also snipped around the curve. I've left the bottom open, and it's from there I'm going to turn it the right way around. I always use my tube turner for that. I've turned it the right way and I've pressed it, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and sew it relatively close to the edge. So a top stitch all the way around. This might be a nice place to use one of your fancy stitches if you've got them on your machine. All the way around again, take your time with this to the bottom, and once again we're leaving this bottom open. I've top stitched, and now I'm going to put the strap to one side while we work on the lining. Place your lining fabrics right sides together, line up all the edges and clip. I've almost finished putting the clips in. As on. Next I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine, and starting here at the top, use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew right along to the bottom and stop. Starting at the bottom, start there and stop, leave a gap for turning, start again and stop, start here and sew along to the top and stop. We're not sewing in the box corners at the moment. I've sewn along that edge, along the bottom, remembering to leave a gap, and along this edge. And now we're going to box the corners. And to box the corners, open up your box corner that you've left and match this bottom seam and this side seam together. Again, if you've not done this before, take your time, there's no rush. I find it helps to actually open up the seams as well. And then when you're happy with it, add a clip. Next, add a further 2 clips to secure. And then take it over your sewing machine and again using 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew right across. I've sewn along the one side and I've repeated for the other side, and now that's your lining finished. We'll leave it the wrong way out and we'll put it to one side for the moment. We're now working on the outer. Place your 2 outer fabrics right sides together, line up all the sides and bottom edges and clip all the way around as we did for the lining. I've clipped, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, starting at the top, sew along to the bottom and stop. Start again there along the bottom, all the way along and stop. Back up the other side, starting there and stop. And once again, leaving the box corners clear, and on the outer there is no gap to leave. So along the one side edge, the other side edge, and all the way along the bottom, and I've remembered to leave the corners open, and now I'm going to box them in exactly the same way as we did the lining. So once again, line up the bottom seam and your side seam, and when you're happy with those, pop a clip in. This is a bit more fiddly because we've got interfacing on, but it's exactly the same as we did for the lining. And I'm going to get some more clips and pop them in there. And next I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and sew right across the bottom using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I've sewn along the one box corner and I've repeated for the other one, and now I'm going to turn it the right way around. I've turned the outer the right way around, and now I'm going to fold it in half like this and finger press, or you could use your iron if you want to, and that's just so we can see where the centre is. And I'm going to do the same for the handle. Fold it in half, and again finger press and open out. Next, take your strap and using that centre crease and the centre crease on here, line them all up and pop a few clips in. Pop some clips in. Make sure when you do it you just clip into the one side, not all the way through. Next I'm going to take it off the sewing machine and sew close to the edge, tack all the way along the strap. I've tacked all the way along. You won't see these stitches in the final make, and I've made sure that I've just sewn to the one side. And now I'm going to place the outer, which is the right way round, inside the lining which we left the wrong way round. I've put the outer inside the lining. I've matched up the side seams and the top edges, and as you can see I've added a few clips. And now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, join the outer to the lining, starting at the one seam and sewing all the way around. Again, take your time and stop. I've sewn all the way around, joining the outer to the lining, and now I'm going to pull it the right way through the gap I left at the bottom. I've turned it the right way through the gap, And next I'm going to sew up the gap I left at the bottom. I've tucked the lining inside and pressed it. And next I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and top stitch all the way around this top edge. You can use your fancy stitch at this stage if you wish. I've top stitched all the way around the top and I've pressed to give some nice sharp edges. I've added cam snaps. I've added more than one so we can adjust it to fit. And that's your MOKKA Car Tidy all finished. Optional is to top stitch along all of your nice sharp creases. I've top stitched all along the sharp edges. This just gives a nice effect.